If there's one thing live television teaches us, it's that absolutely anything can happen. With no cuts, no editing, and no second chance, unexpected moments have already gone down in history precisely because they were captured in real time. From inexplicable technical failures to events that seem straight out of a science fiction movie, some broadcasts have left hosts, guests, and viewers completely bewildered. In 2016, a video began circulating on the internet and quickly became a topic among users intrigued by an alleged glitch in reality. The footage showed an interview conducted by the Norwegian broadcaster TV2 at an airport. While an athlete spoke to the camera, two women appeared in the background on the left side of the screen. One of them was standing still, apparently using her phone or waiting for someone, and the other was walking while pushing a luggage cart. The curious moment happens when the woman with the cart passes exactly in front of the other. As soon as she crosses the frame, the second woman simply disappears from the image, as if she had vanished into thin air. The effect is so sudden that many people began sharing the video on social media, raising theories ranging from broadcast glitches to supernatural phenomena. The British tabloid Daily Mirror also covered the case, which helped boost the viral spread even more. According to experts, despite the mysterious appearance, the explanation is simple and involves only perspective and movement. The woman who seems to disappear starts moving at the exact moment the other passes in front of her. The combination of the camera angle, the distance between them, and the framing causes her to be completely obscured or to leave the lens's field of view at that specific instant. Because the video is quick and the focus is on the interview, the brain interprets the scene as a vanishing. In 2011, the largest tsunami to hit Japan occurred. Several cities were struck by it, and many people managed to take shelter on top of tall buildings where they stayed filming the tsunami in real time, generating impressive images. However, one of the recordings that surprised people the most was during a cell phone video, in which a man managed to film an alleged white figure that emerges from within the water and begins to walk through the area, over the water. From the sharing of the footage, many people began to raise the theory that it would be an evil spirit, and that it may even have caused the tsunami. However, others, more skeptical, raised the hypothesis of a pipe breaking due to the force of the current, which ended up releasing gas, giving the impression that it was a figure. Notice that the person who is recording and those around them are startled, proving that everyone saw the same thing. It is really curious, however, the gas hypothesis ended up being the most accepted. On May 17, 1995, one of the most unusual and terrifying episodes in the recent history of San Diego happened when Sean Nelson, a United States Army veteran and a 35-year-old unemployed plumber, stole a war tank from the California Army National Guard and drove out into the streets, with the entire incident being broadcast live. Nelson entered the yard by taking advantage of a gate left open and the lack of adequate security, and using his military knowledge, managed to get the enormous tank running. What followed was true urban chaos. He drove the tank for about 10 kilometers through residential streets, crushing parked cars, knocking down power poles, traffic signs, fire hydrants, and other obstacles in the way, leaving thousands of residents without electricity. Witnesses even saw Nelson laughing and looking out from the tank's turret as he moved forward, and, although the material damage was enormous, surprisingly, no other person was injured during the destruction. The chase lasted about 25 minutes, with local police teams trying to keep up with the 57-ton tank, which could reach up to about 72 kilometers per hour. The chaos only ended when the tank got stuck on a lane divider on the highway and lost one of its tracks. At that moment, officers managed to climb onto the vehicle, pry open the hatch with tools, and ordered Nelson to surrender. As he refused and was an imminent risk to the officers and the public, the authorities had no choice but to shoot on the top of the tank. The episode terrified the local population and raised serious questions about the security of military weaponry, leading to investigations and changes in how tanks and other vehicles were stored and protected at National Guard facilities. During the coverage of Queen Elizabeth II's funeral in September 2022, ITV's live broadcast was marked by a detail that left many people uncomfortable. While presenter Tom Bradby narrated aerial footage of the funeral procession leaving London, a female whisper suddenly appeared in the audio. The phrase seemed to say something like, "Death is irreversible, and the fact that she is trapped." The sound lasted only a few seconds, but it was enough to generate a wave of comments on social media. Many people swore that the voice resembled Princess Diana, which fueled bizarre theories that it was some kind of ghost message in the middle of the broadcast.
Death is irreversible, and the fact that she's trapped.
As you can see,
Others tried to bring more skeptical explanations. One internet user suggested that maybe it was just a technical problem, like crossed lines with another channel. Another hypothesis raised was that a microphone in the studio had been left open by mistake, picking up a side conversation. Curiously, minutes earlier, psychotherapist Julia Samuel, who is Prince George's godmother, had taken part in the coverage. She was speaking exactly about how accepting death is an irreversible process and how watching the funeral helped people face this new reality. That made the coincidence even more intriguing. ITV never officially clarified what happened. What is known is that the audio exists and can be heard in the recording. For some, it was just a technical glitch. For others, the creepiest moment of the entire ceremony. In July 2012, during a live televised political debate on a Jordanian broadcaster, MP Mohammed Shawabka was at the center of an extremely shocking scene that ended up going viral internationally. The confrontation began as a heated argument with activist and former MP Mansour Saif al-Din Murad over political issues and attitudes toward the uprising in Syria, as the two exchanged accusations, going so far as to call each other a criminal, an agent, or a spy. The tension inside the studio escalated rapidly. During the debate, Shawabka even threw his shoe at his opponent as a sign of disrespect and then pulled a gun from his waistband and brandished it toward Murad while the program was still on the air, an act that left the host and the others present shocked and terrified. The weapon was pointed in the direction of the other debater in a moment of extreme hostility, forcing the studio staff and production to intervene to separate the two and try to calm the situation. The incident caused major repercussions in Jordan and abroad, with Murad filing a formal complaint against Shawabka for defamation and attempted murder after the episode, and Jordanian authorities opening an investigation into how the lawmaker managed to enter the studio armed. On social media, for several years a curious video circulated showing Pope Francis seemingly disappearing suddenly as he backed into a building in the Vatican during a ceremony broadcast on television. The viral clip was initially shared on social platforms as if it were a live broadcast of a moment when the Pope was at the balcony window in the Vatican, waving to the faithful and then simply disappearing into thin air as he began to step back. This led many internet users to speculate that the Pope's image had been digitally projected, some kind of hologram technology used by the church to protect the pontiff, or to transmit only a virtual image of him to large crowds. However, fact checks and detailed analyses showed that this sensationalist interpretation does not match reality. The video in question was not a true live broadcast, but rather a recording that underwent edits that made it seem, in the small portion shared, that he suddenly disappeared. In full versions or from other angles, there is no magical disappearance or hologram being switched off. A TV program was airing normally live when the two hosts were commenting on a topic, and one of their glasses moved on its own across the counter. Upon noticing the glass moving, the hosts are shocked by the situation and don't seem to quite believe what they're seeing, so much so that they continue with the program trying to ignore what happened, which obviously went viral, with internet users linking the incident to invisible Christmas elves who would have moved the glass in order to cause fright and fear. The connection came because of the time the program aired and the studio's decoration, all themed around Christmas. After the moment's repercussions, an alleged piece of information came out that the moment in fact was a joke or prank organized by the production with the hosts, which indeed is the most likely thing to have happened. On the night of November 22nd, 1987, one of the most bizarre and remembered episodes in the history of American television took place, known as the Max Headroom incident, in which the signal of two broadcasters was hijacked by a hacker who has never been identified. It all began in Chicago, in the state of Illinois, in the United States, when the regular broadcast of station WTTW was airing an episode of the British series Doctor Who. At around 11:15 p.m., the signal was suddenly interrupted and replaced by a pirate video. On the screen appeared a masked individual with the face of the character Max Headroom, an 80s fictional figure, in front of a homemade background that resembled the character's look. The audio was heavily distorted and he uttered disjointed phrases, strange references, and nonsensical behaviors during the roughly 90 seconds that his pirated transmission stayed on the air.
I'll get you a hot drink, miss.
Some dry clothes.
The content was so strange that it included comments about television and pop culture, seemingly unrelated phrases, and even bizarre scenes. All of this interrupted the normal programming without any warning. The station's technical team tried to regain control, but only managed to do so when the pirate transmission ended on its own and the Doctor Who episode returned to the screen. This event made national news in the United States and, since then, has been remembered as one of the most notorious cases of TV signal hijacking, both for its technical execution and for the disturbing and nonsensical content shown during the hack. The identity of those responsible was never discovered, and the episode remains a mystery and a milestone of what can be called television piracy of the analog era. A video that circulated on social media showed a curious moment during a live broadcast by Capital TV in Peru in which a luminous point in the sky caught the attention of those following the coverage. While the crew filmed the nighttime landscape, some people who were at the location began pointing lasers toward the object, which appeared as a bright light seemingly stationary or moving slowly over the sea. In the footage, the green laser beam can be seen reaching the luminous point, and at certain moments, the object seems to emit a more intense glow or shift slightly in position, which led part of the audience to interpret the episode as a possible UFO appearance interacting with people on the ground. The scene quickly spread across the internet, fueling theories that the object was responding to the lasers or displaying some kind of intelligent behavior.
No está en el cerro.
Despite the repercussions, there was no official confirmation that it was an extraterrestrial craft or any unexplainable phenomenon. Experts often point out that lights in the sky recorded at night can easily be mistaken for satellites, distant airplanes, drones, or even brighter stars and planets, especially when filmed with cameras that enlarge and distort points of light. In May 2020, at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, the broadcaster WMBB News 13, based in Panama City, Florida, United States, aired an unexpected scene during a live report on the beach about the reopening of coastal areas and the debate over the risk of crowds amid the public health crisis. While reporter Faith Graham covered the movement of beachgoers along the coast, a local resident decided to protest the reopening of the beaches in an unusual way. He wore a Grim Reaper costume, with a cape and symbolic scythe to draw more attention to the dangers of relaxing social distancing measures and the possibility of the disease spreading. During the live broadcast, Faith Graham even handed the microphone to the costumed man, allowing him to explain his point of view on the situation directly on air, while he criticized the premature end of restrictions and warned that bringing many people to the beaches could prolong the region's recovery in relation to the pandemic.
I'm here today to try to make a point that I think it's premature that we open our beaches.
The scene, because of its peculiarity, with a man dressed as a figure associated with death explaining a protest during a live coverage, quickly drew attention on social media and was widely discussed, generating memes and protests. In August 2021, MSNBC reporter Shaquille Brewster was broadcasting live from Gulfport, Mississippi in the United States, covering the impacts of Tropical Storm Ida when he was confronted by a man who got out of a white pickup truck. During the broadcast, the individual approached Brewster, yelling for him to report accurately, alleging that the reporter was exaggerating or sensationalizing the story. Brewster tried to keep his composure and move away from the man, but the situation escalated, leading the network to cut the transmission abruptly. Later, the man was identified as Benjamin Eugene Dagley from Ohio. Authorities issued an arrest warrant against him for 2 counts of simple assault, one of disturbing the peace, and another for violating the emergency curfew. Dagley was arrested in Dayton, Ohio, after police located his vehicle in a parking lot. Shaquille Brewster assured the public that he and his team were fine after the incident. MSNBC President Rashida Jones praised Brewster for his professional demeanor during the situation, stating that the reporter is a spectacular professional and did not allow anyone to intimidate him to the point of preventing him from doing his job. She also emphasized the relief in knowing that everyone was okay. In August 2019, during a severe storm in the state of Arizona, in the United States, reporter Matt Rodewald, who worked for Fox 10 Phoenix, went through a frightening moment as he prepared for a live report about the bad weather. While footage of the storm in Phoenix was being broadcast, a lightning bolt struck just a few meters from where the reporter was, lighting up the sky and making a loud boom, startling the journalist and the technical crew. The impact of the electrical discharge was so close that it even knocked out the power in the area at that instant, making the danger of the situation clear. Despite the lightning's proximity and the huge scare, Matt Rodewold escaped unhurt and managed to continue his coverage after what happened, showing professionalism even in the face of the obvious risk of being struck by lightning during a severe weather event. On the afternoon of August 19, 1987, during KNBC TV's 4 p.m. newscast, Consumer Affairs reporter David Horowitz was caught off guard, live on air, when a man armed with what appeared to be a firearm approached from behind, pressing it into his back. The man demanded that Horowitz read an incoherent statement about the CIA and aliens. Remarkably calm, Horowitz complied and read the text, while the control room cut away from the live broadcast without the attacker realizing the cut. The weapon, later revealed to be a replica, was not loaded. After finishing the reading, the man set it on the desk, at which point anchor John Beard removed it and police arrested the intruder, identified as Gary Stolman. The incident caused a major uproar, leading David Horowitz to commit to a campaign to ban toys that imitate real weapons, generating legislative impact and changes in public and legislative perception on the issue. On July 29, 2008, a magnitude 5.4 earthquake struck Southern California in the United States and ended up going down in television history for having occurred precisely during the broadcast of the program called Judge Judy, which showed trials in the courtroom presided over by Judge Judy Scheindlin. The seismic event, known as the Chino Hills earthquake, happened at around 11:42 in the morning, with an epicenter near the city of Chino Hills, and was felt in several regions, such as Los Angeles. At the moment of the tremor, the studio where the program was produced began to sway visibly. Cameras, lights, and parts of the set vibrated, and the audience present reacted with fright. Some people got up quickly, while others showed panic in the face of the unexpected situation. Judge Judy herself interrupted the session for a few moments until the situation stabilized. Footage of what happened circulated widely on the internet, drawing attention to the fact that an earthquake hit a television program in progress, and for showing, in real time, people's reaction to an unpredictable natural phenomenon. Despite the fright and the repercussion, the earthquake did not cause major structural damage or serious victims in the region. A video that circulated widely on social media shows an unusual moment during the participation of the famous clairvoyant Moni Vidente on a Mexican television program. Known for making predictions and talking about spirituality live on TV, Mahoney was commenting on topics related to energies and spiritual entities when something unexpected happened in the studio. As she spoke, an object from the set behind her suddenly fell, and other elements seemed to move, which caused immediate fright in the host and in people present in the studio. The surprised reaction was captured by the cameras and quickly gained prominence on the internet. Internet users began sharing the clip, claiming that a ghost had appeared live, or that the clairvoyant herself had invoked a spirit from another plane during the broadcast. The fact that the episode happened precisely during a program focused on spiritual themes contributed to supernatural theories spreading quickly. In some versions shared online, Moni even commented that she felt a strong energy in the place, which fueled the speculation even more. Don't forget to subscribe to watch more videos like this.